And we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my greasy face. Welcome to the Independent Comedy Club interviews Dwight motherfucking Simmons. I'm very excited. Very excited to have him here. We're going to talk about his start in Indiana. He started when he was in college. I'm always so curious to talk to people that started younger. I'm very envious of them. And there he is. Just a little bit of information about him. He has played for Limestone, Memphis, and Chrome comedy festivals. He was on Kevin Hart's LOL Network, The Bob and Tom Show. He produced his first album by himself, which I'm sure with a little bit of help from friends and family maybe. We're going to talk about it. Passive is Aggressive is the name of it. It hit #1 on iTunes. He was also made the Thrillist list. 50 best undiscovered comedians in the nation. He also has another album called Sip and Pass, and also hit #1 on iTunes and also on Google Play. Look at him moving on up. Another little bit of information about him. He contributes to craftbeer.com, avid beer drinker, I'm hearing. And he also produces a traveling web series called BrewTube Comedy, which I'm very, very curious about that. So we're going to discuss that and see how he's been doing during the trash fire that is the United States of America. So let's check in with Dwight and see what he's doing, how he's doing. View, go live. Hello.
What's up?
Not much. You're actually driving? Are you driving?
I'm not driving. I am in the passenger seat. Girlfriend's driving. So I'm just being annoying and doing an interview with, yeah.
I love it. Where are you guys going?
Yeah. We are going to Osh Kosh, Wisconsin for the weekend.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Very
escaping
fun.
to Wisconsin. If you don't hear from me before Monday, send help. No police.
Yeah.
Come
Oh,
alone.
God. Seriously. Come alone. Well,
Yeah.
How are you? Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for that wonderful bio and introduction. I appreciate that. Letting people know.
Of course. We got to do it.
Yeah, things are good. The world's on fire, but cognitive dissonance today.
Yeah, absolutely. How have you been staying busy? Like, have you been writing? Have you been doing any comedy stuff?
Yeah, so the first couple of weeks was just legitimately just watching every show on Netflix and playing video games and eating. And yeah, lately I've been trying to write every day. I've had a couple of virtual shows, and just like everyone else, finding new hobbies. I've been smoking a lot of meats. That's who I am now. Yeah. The meat man.
Very nice. You got a pair of
I don't like that. Actually, I don't like the meat man. I don't like Dwight. We're going to workshop some other titles. The meat man's not the best.
We'll edit it out. We'll fix it. It's fine. So these interviews are kind of like based around like your kind of like come up in comedy, how you found success here and there, and what advice you would give to like younger you, and what advice you would give to like people who are just starting off, or I shouldn't say just starting off because there's no way you could just start off right now, but have been in the game for just a couple of years. So we're like comedy babies.
Right.
So I want to take you back to Indiana University and like you starting off comedy. Yeah, we're going to go way back, dude. We're going to go way back. What was your first set like?
My first set was actually, I tried stand-up in high school for a talent show. And basically all I did was like famous comics jokes. Because I didn't have any material. I signed up for a talent show to do stand-up comedy. And I was like, oh, shit, you probably need to have some actual comedy. So I just took Eddie Murphy's. I just did Eddie Murphy jokes. And
I love it.
my white high school was like, this is aggressive. I don't particularly care for this. So, but then I didn't do it again until like I was a sophomore in college, and even then it was very sparingly. The Now Comedy Attic opened when I was a sophomore.
Yeah.
And growing up, I was obsessed with comedy. I'd watch it every night. All the Comedy Centrals, the Def Jams, the Comic View. So I was ecstatic to have a new place to go hang out, and I got up and tried it, and just kind of went from there.
For sure. So you said your dad was a comedy fan?
Yep, my dad watched. My dad would watch sports and stand-up comedy. So my house was yelling at a sports game or laughing his ass off at DL Hewley. It's a real range.
I love it.
Those are the two emotions.
Right. Was he a funny guy too, or is he a funny guy, I should say?
Yeah, he's definitely class clown. He's a chef now, but always smiling, great sense of humor, and we joke around a lot. So that's sort of where I get it from.
Right.
Brighten up the room, that's him, for sure.
I love that. I know you have like a couple jokes about your dad. Do you kind of like, does that influence a lot of your material, like your family and your upbringing at all?
Yeah, I like to tell stories that are based in truth and then just exaggerated on a little bit, made silly. And I mean, what's better material than just having a father? It's like it's such an absurd stereotype that fathers are cheesy and corny. That's just It couldn't be more true. So I used to talk about how he couldn't type. It's the funniest thing to me. Just yelling at the computer. Just with the two fingers just going at it.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome.
How do you download a document,
Right, stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I also want to talk about, sorry if I'm like yelling, I'm just trying to match the sound of the car.
The sound of the road, I'm back.
Sound of the road, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm a little distracted about the road. Are you back to doing comedy? Like, what is it like over on a little bit of the west side of things from here? I
haven't done any live shows. I just, started booking stuff out for the end of summer and fall. We'll see what happens, but I haven't even thought about what doing a live show right now would be like or look like. It's like, especially the last 2 weeks, it's been the last thing on my radar.
Yeah.
It's like telling silly jokes in front of people.
Yeah. Absolutely. There was like this tweet that went viral that was like, I'm so glad there's no open mics right now.
Yeah. Everyone's hot take, yeah. Yes, we have saved the world from bad open mics, thankfully.
Literally. Thankfully.
Now it's just people ranting on social media.
Yes.
Which is better with... So I will say that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I don't know. I hope some comedians do it right and create some great, viewpoints and jokes about everything happening. I have some faith that the professionals will do it, but I'm scared for the open-minders and the people who don't quite know what they're doing.
Right. There's going to be a lot of that. I mean, unrefined opinions, even professionals will have to find a way to be professional. If you don't do this consistently, you kind of, it leaves your toolbox very fast, So, a lot of comedy is about timing, and a lot of comedy is about making sense of the world in a relatable way. And it's going to be hard to do that because, no one really has the answers of what the future holds. So it's gonna be interesting watching people get up there and fake confidence as philosophers and things like that. So I'm not sure.
Dwight,
I'm not sure what to expect.
Dwight,
but yes,
I'm sweating just thinking about it. I'm sweating just thinking about. I'm literally like, my armpits are sweating just thinking about getting on stage. I'm just like so. I feel like I was a comedian in a past life.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, and like you're having like a rebirth. And it's like, I guess we'll just go back to trying to be normal. Like I was talking to a club owner who's adamant that all of the customers wear masks, which is probably the right thing to do, but it's going to be weird as hell, Half audience and then everyone has a mask.
Yeah, I just I work at a restaurant and we just opened our doors back up this Monday, so we've only been open for a few days. And I was just on my friend's podcast last night talking about it, and we were just like, why would you want to go out to eat in like a surgical room? Because that's essentially what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like everyone's wearing a mask. People are wearing gloves.
Nothing like the smell of sweet potato fries and peroxide.
Yeah, exactly. And people are just like, I would love a margarita on the rocks. I am so happy to be here. Like, I'm just like, what are you doing?
Grab the iPad.
Yeah, it's you don't know you don't know who you're sitting around. Like, do they think this thing is a hoax? They've been itching to get out. So that's the scary part for me, is like, you never know who's in public with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing a ton of that. Okay, I do want to shift the interview back to you and your accomplishments. I want to talk a little bit about Limestone, Memphis, Chrome, and like the other comedy festivals that I'm sure you've featured or headlined in before. What was that like starting off, like as a young comic, and like starting off with your festivals and hitting the road and stuff? Like, is there any advice that you would give in that realm?
Yeah, there's a lot of advice, I guess. Most of it summed up would be festivals are fun and they serve a purpose, but don't lose your shit over them and don't make them the focal point of your career. Getting into a festival is an awesome feeling to get the email. It's equally a shitty feeling to get the rejection email. So just let yourself feel it for, a day. And then, it's such a crapshoot. Most festivals get, 400 submissions and they take 40 comics. You don't know what the festival's looking for. You don't know. I mean, it's never a defining point of your career. They're fun, use them on bios. They're great for networking. And just hanging out with cool people all weekend. The first comedy festival I did was trash. It's called the New Jersey Festival of Comedy or some shit like that, and they had 101 comics, and it just wasn't organized. So that's another thing, is like, do your research, submit to first-year festivals, and submit to festivals that have a good reputation. There's so many resources out there, and there's so many comics that you can ask, hey, I was thinking about submitting to this festival, what do you think? Just get a real read on what you're submitting to, and don't just do it just to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. How many festivals do you think young comics should be hitting per year? We're going to pretend like COVID isn't a thing, and we're just going to talk.
It depends. I think that's a good question, but I also think that goal setting is very important. Specific goal setting, not just arbitrary surface things. So if you're, a couple years in and you really want to do a comedy festival, make it a goal by the same time next year that you will submit to a comedy festival. There's no real, I don't think, good answer on a blanket statement. everything changes comic to comic.
Yeah.
Set your goals.
Right.
What do you want to do? Do you want to get into more rooms? Do you want to book a tour? Do you want to, do 3 festivals? Do you want to do your first feature set? And then I think it's a good exercise to write down why you have those goals.
Yeah.
And check in every 3 months with yourself. Comedy moves fast, and your goals change, and they should change. And then everything kind of happens all at once. Like everything you just read, that those festivals I didn't get anything for, the first 4 years, and then things started clicking a little bit. I started getting stuff. So a lot of it's hanging in there and being patient. You can't turn the bitter off, but you can keep it at bay.
Yeah. Do you have any advice as to how to keep the bitterness at bay?
Perspective. What works for me is when I first started traveling, I worked with a lot of comics that were bitter. They were older, bitter dudes that viewed their career as, they didn't get the things that they thought that they deserved, which I was just like, it's exhausting. I never want to be that guy that takes what they have for granted. And then also, another perspective point is, I think you have to have your ass kicked a lot on the road to realize you're telling jokes. Like, that's all it is. We make it so much more than that sometimes. And most of us are not that great. Like, we're not that great. Being a fan of comedy as a kid, there's so many good comics. There's so many great comedians. It would be ridiculous for me to say that I stand out to the point that I deserve all these things above all these other comics. It's just that sort of acceptance of I'm getting things work the way they work for me, and they work the way they do for other people. And then just time and work ethic. I mean, you can't beat those two things.
Absolutely.
Read your favorite comics bio. Like, a lot of people love Kevin Hart, but he did comedy for 15 years before he got anything.
Yeah.
And that's true with so many famous comics or who you consider successful.
Exactly. Yeah, Kevin Hart's hustle is something to look up to, absolutely. He's very impressive, everything that he's accomplished. So you have been, your stuff has been featured on LOL Network?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I was excited about that. Someone sent me a picture. I didn't even know. I knew I had stuff on Sirius, but I think he played a joke I have about craft beer, which is really cool.
Very cool. So how does that work? Are they able to just play whatever they want, or I don't understand. It's a very lengthy, boring process. Basically, you have to go through a distributor, or you just have to email a head of a station a bunch. So imagine the same process of trying to get booked on a show on a larger scale. Gotcha.
It's just going to annoy the shit out of somebody until they say yes.
Okay, which is a lot of comedy. That's all you're doing.
That's mostly it. Yeah. Which is just makes it hard to keep the bitterness at bay. People aren't responding to me, and I want to scream and choke somebody. But woosah. Yeah.
Woosah, exactly. Laugh it off. We gotta laugh it off. I also want to talk about Pacifist Aggressive, your first album, because it says that you produced it. Did you produce it on your own, or what was that like?
Yeah, so I saved up some money and recorded an album at the now defunct Morty's Comedy Joint here. It was just an hour of my first 6 years of comedy, pretty much surmised. And I sat down, edited it, did sound mixing, just kind of taught myself how to do all that stuff on a janky-ass computer, and then self-distributed it through TuneCore, which is a cool site that helps you distribute your music to, Apple, Google, Spotify, Pandora. So I did it through that, and that's basically the Sparks Notes version of the beginning to end of it.
Yeah. Very cool.
So,
that's very impressive. I'm always impressed by people really coming together and making an album work like that.
Yeah, it was definitely community focused.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I had help. Sound guy at Morty's. I had all the people that let me run the hour material the month leading up to that to kind of perfect it. I had comics to bounce jokes off of. So definitely,
For sure.
It was. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what are some differences between Pacifist Aggressive and Sip and Pass as far as production?
Yeah, the Pacifist Aggressive was, I did it in one take. I was one night, and I feel like now that I had a grasp on things going into the second album, I was able to see some of the stressors before they happened and kind of steady my nerves a little bit. Materially, like I said, the first album was 6 years in the making, with material that I just wanted to either move on from or get recorded because I felt like it was done. And then the second album was probably more political in certain aspects, and a little less surface, a little bit more personal, which had a different pacing. I became a better comic in those 3 years. So
absolutely.
I still I used to think that I put out the first album too early, but listening to it recently, I still stand by a lot of those jokes and don't regret it at all.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who's to tell you you're ready or not? If you feel ready, you did it. You know what I mean? And it's fucking dope. A lot of work and a lot of love and a lot of just energy gets put into a project like that. I think it's awesome, and I don't think. I mean, I shouldn't say it's never too early because it definitely is sometimes too early. But I mean, you have the material and you're ready to take the plunge. Take the fucking plunge.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you stand by it, there are. It's back to perspective. There really aren't any consequences for self-producing an album if you feel like you're ready. Just go ahead and do it, and record it if you like it. Put it out. If you don't like it, wait another year and try again.
There you go. That's perfect. That's great advice.
If you're going on the road, you can only really survive by having, credits or merch to sell.
Yeah.
So the way that people discover you is different now, and it can be pretty accessible. You can be pretty accessible. Especially when you start out. 'Cause you have all the energy, You're still gung-ho. You're not a withered old man like I am. Been beat down.
Dude.
So.
I'm not talking I've been doing this forever, but year 1 and 2 for me, I was I'm going to do this, and I'm going to say yes to everything, and I'm going to, produce weekly shows, and I'm going to start a comedy club with my friends. It's just been it left me very tired, but also looking back, I'm like, I did some cool shit. So like,
right,
you're right. Use that energy in your first couple years, for sure.
For sure. Yeah, you need that. You need those first 3, comedy obsessed years where it's all you're doing or thinking about, and you're like, I'm gonna do everything.
Yes.
You need that so that you can trudge through the bullshit. That optimism kind of carries you through until you get good enough to, kind of have a little bit of a perspective. I'm literally going through a tunnel right now.
If we get disconnected, it's actually true. It's like, the fake phone call. I'm going through a tunnel. I can't really hear you.
Yeah, I'm going
to. Actually real.
Yeah, it's no lies. It's no lies now. Like, you have to. What I learned before lockdown is that there are no excuses when everybody has to stay at home. You can't be like, well, I can't do the Zoom call today. It's like, why? Why? Where are you going? Where are you going? Yeah,
absolutely.
You're gonna finish. Finish the reruns of Sanford and Son.
Right. Oh, I'm busy.
I'm sorry, I'm so busy.
Super busy with my depression. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk about one more thing. Your brew tube. Like, how cool is it to take something that you love, 2 things you love so much, comedy and beer, and you created this traveling web series. Talk about that a little bit with us.
Yeah, I am just a raging alcoholic. So, well,
we
like,
love that.
You know this, like, a lot of shows just compensate paying you poorly by throwing you booze and drink tickets and stuff like that. So I noticed that I was doing more and more shows in craft breweries across the country, really, and every bar has craft beer. And once I switched from the AB and Bev stuff, I started dabbling a little bit. I was like, hey, this shit's pretty good. So I started that as a way to try to educate myself about craft beer in a fun way, since I was around it a bunch. And then the gung-ho thing happened. I was like, I'm going to film this, and I don't see anything out here like this. Take the 2 things I love and try to combine them into one show. That was really the only thought I had, and then I just started doing it. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I have one last question for you. What do you feel has been your biggest accomplishment in your comedy career thus far?
Honestly, this interview. No. That's tough. Biggest accomplishment, probably. Off the top of my head, I started at the Comedy Attic, and now it's like one of the most renowned clubs in the country. Like, consensus throughout the comedy community is that it's a top 10 club, and I got to headline that last year, which was a big deal. To me, a big accomplishment because it's a really tough club to move up that way, and I was really proud that the work that I had done over my entire career was noticed by Jared, the owner, who's a psychopath, which I think I just told him that today. But yeah, so I mean, that wasn't easy, and I was super happy to do that last year, and then I'll be doing it again this year. Just found out, so I was supremely proud of that.
Yeah,
and just kind of making a mark in Indiana.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. It's very exciting.
Why, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
I can't wait to come back to Detroit.
We can't wait to have you. We can't wait to be open again. I know earlier.
I bet.
somebody in the comments had asked when we're going to open up again, and unfortunately we're not sure, but we would love to have you back. Everyone's going to know as soon as we know, but we're not sure yet. So, gotta play it by ear. Yeah.
It's great you're doing these, though. These are super enjoyable.
Yeah, they've been a lot of fun. So thanks for taking the time. Tell everybody where we can find you, where we can find your albums and all your stuff. We want to support you.
Right on. I appreciate it. DwightSimmons.com. But I've been doing a writing series about racism I've experienced in comedy on Medium. Just go to Medium and search Dwight Simmons, or go to my Facebook page. And I'd really love it if as many people would read those as possible.
Yeah.
So I've released 4, and I probably will do another 4 next week as well.
Okay. If you don't
mind, check that out.
You send me like a direct link once we're done with this, and then I'm going to share it on the Independence thing, and I'm going to share it on my personal one as well. So yeah,
oh, hell yeah.
We're here to support as much as we can for all of that.
Yes.
So
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Thanks again, Dwight. We'll talk to you soon. Drive safely.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Will do. See ya.
Bye. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is Dwight Simmons. Sweet as pie. Connor and I, me, Connor, and Carolyn Paul, went and drove all the way to Indianapolis, and we did Alex Price's and Co. They run a show at Black Circle Brewery. It's on Sunday, and while we were there, Dwight Simmons headlined, and he's so funny, and he's got a great joke about DMX that we enjoyed thoroughly. We were laughing and had tears rolling down our faces. So support Dwight Simmons. Find all of his shit, DwightSimmons.com. He's going to send me that link on that writing stuff that is very important that I would love to check out. I will share it on our page. But yeah, keep tuning in, keep watching our interviews. We've got a lineup for next week that we will release tomorrow. And we're excited. We're excited to keep providing this for you guys. And like I said earlier, we're not sure when we're going to open yet. Our team firmly believes that there's going to be a second wave. We firmly believe in keeping our customers safe and ourselves safe. We are not in any rush. I don't want to speak for Planet Ant, who we are under, and who essentially Darren Shelton's our boss, whatever. I know that he cares a shit ton about human beings, and he cares a shit ton about the arts, and we want all of it to live and survive and be healthy. So before money, before stage time, before any of the bullshit, we want to make sure that our customers and ourselves and our comedy scene is thriving and healthy. And yeah, we're here to support the arts. We're here to support the movement that is currently happening. And I speak for my team in a very serious way when I say that. So yeah, just stay safe out there, wash your hands, share information, educate yourself on this virus, on the Black Lives Movement, on everything that's happening right now during this trash fire. Please stay kind to one another. I sound like Ellen DeGeneres, but honestly, please stay kind and cleanly. Stay kind and cleanly. Let's put that shit on a t-shirt, right? Speaking of t-shirts, you can buy the independent t-shirts and hoodies still on the Planet Ant website. So check out the merch there. We have Planet Ant stuff. We've got the independent stuff. If you have any questions, do not, it's Kevin's laughing at me. If you have any questions, please do not, hesitate to DM me. I'm usually on here. One of the producers will answer. If you have any questions about anything, really, we'll talk you through it. We'll let you know, and we might make you laugh. All right, guys, take care. Have a good weekend. Stay safe.